So another commonly asked question is, what supplements do you take, and do you take them when you're eating? Do you take them when you're fasting? What do you do?
I'm Jackie, here to answer questions about my journey from fat weak and sick to trim, strong, and healthy.
I actually take quite a bit more than a lot of the people in the group. The two that I think are most important for diabetics are a good B vitamin, meaning that it has all bioidentical B vitamins. Some people cannot convert various forms of Bs into the usable ones. If you haven't been tested, I haven't, I just take the bioidentical. The reason that I think Bs are important is that when I was becoming a biochemist, they made us learn all these things called the glycolysis and the Krebs cycle and the electron transport train. And basically, it is a matter of, after glucose gets inside of the cell, what happens to turn it into energy the cell can use. All of the reactions involved. And a whole lot of those reactions require one or more of the B vitamins. My theory all along has been, if glucose has trouble getting into my cell, I want to make sure it works as efficiently as possible once it's there. And even people who aren't diabetics, who I've recommended the B vitamin I use to, have found it to help a great deal with fatigue. Because of that, and because they're water-soluble vitamins, I take them first thing in the morning without food, and I haven't stopped. Honestly, taking them, it's cheap, it's easy, whatever. So I don't have any particular reason to stop. The second supplement that I think diabetics should take is milk thistle. And if you, I once took a deep dive into the scientific literature and basically convinced myself that milk thistle was the best thing for livers ever. There's huge amounts of research behind that. And given that type 2 diabetes is primarily a liver disorder, I can't see the downside of taking milk thistle on a regular basis. That one I actually take with my dinner. I don't have a particular reason to take it in the morning, so I don't. Moving right along from there, I take cod liver oil, and I take a pill that also contains vitamin A and D. I do not take a liquid because it's gross, and I'm not up for that. I've tried, including flavored ones, and no, they're not edible. Those of you who say they are liars. I actually take cod liver oil because I have a history of heart disease, and fish oil is good for me. But I also take it because the real stuff with vitamins A and D are vitamins that, generally speaking, Americans are low on. And the reason we are low on this is because they've been telling us since the 1970s to eat a low-fat diet. And these nutrients are fat. They are in the fat of animals. They're in the fat of animals and in the fat of dairy, and we tend to all be relatively low in them. So taking cod liver oil for me is both for my heart disease and just to replace the vitamins A and D that most of us don't get very much of. I take a vitamin E tablet, and not just plain vitamin E, but the full spectrum of E's. And the reason I do that is because I'm a chemist, when I first read Amanda's book, Ridiculously Big Salad, I ran some of the recipes through a nutrition calculator, and I noticed they were low on E. And really the amount of nuts and seeds I would have to add to salads to get sufficient E to meet the RDA was a heck of a lot of calories, and I didn't want them. So I really preferred just taking an E. The cod liver oil and the vitamin E are both fat-soluble vitamins and nutrients, and therefore are best taken with a meal, because there's no point. Oh, and I didn't bring up electrolytes. There's a whole series on electrolytes. But yes, sodium, potassium, and magnesium are really my primary nutrients. I would lose everything else and I would still be supplementing electrolytes because I feel like hell without them, and I don't like waking up in the middle of the night without cramps. And everyone in this country is pretty much low on magnesium. I mean, unless you've had an RBC magnesium test that said you are towards the top of the scale, you're probably deficient. So that's important, and that is whether fasting, whether eating. I do take more electrolytes when fasting, and I do carry them when I'm actually exercising, just in case I get lightheaded from low sodium, which does occur still on occasion. But the fact that I can walk beats the hell out of the fact that I need a little bit of salt when I walk. And frankly, low sodium is a sign of low insulin, so I'm happy that it still happens. I'm trying to think of what else I consider important. Let me just look at a list of, here we go. I have a file on my computer I can look at and see what I think is very important. My electrolyte drink happens to have vitamin C in it because I add magnesium ascorbate. Actually, it was a vitamin C drink before it became an electrolyte drink. When I needed something, that's just how I took vitamin C. When I talk about supplements, there are times I've tried so many things I can't even tell you. There are times I've just been taking huge numbers of pills, and including prescriptions on top of it, that anytime I could avoid taking a pill, I did that. So I bought magnesium ascorbate powder. It's not enough magnesium, but it was a good source of vitamin C. That I take under half a gram a day. It's not megadosing vitamin C or anything. I take coenzyme Q10, which is also for the heart disease. And I would recommend it to, absolutely, if you're on a statin, you absolutely have to take coenzyme Q10. It can prevent many of the side effects, not necessarily all, but many of them. And if you have heart disease, it basically helps muscle. It is like B vitamins, it's necessary to produce energy in muscle, and given that unless you eat a lot of organ meats, I know heart has lots of coenzyme Q10. I do not eat heart. However, you vampires out there, keep that in mind. So if you are on a statin, or if you have heart disease, coenzyme Q10 is worth taking, and that's another one I take with a meal. Another one that many of you would prefer the food, but I just don't do organ meats very well. I've tried. You can post all the comments you like telling me all the ways that I will like liver. I have tried them all. I do not like liver. I have a propensity sometimes to get slightly low iron, not real low, but slightly. And I take a desiccated liver tablet for that. It's, good, pastured, happy liver, and you're supposed to take 6 a day. I take 1. Why? Because 1 gives me a happy iron panel, and I don't just swallow 6 pills a day. And why do I swallow the 1? Because I don't have to eat liver, which is not happening. There are different forms of iron, both, it's not necessarily about organic versus inorganic, but there's different charges that can be on an iron atom. It can be a +2 or a +3, and it can be bonded to different things. And there's absorption issues, and there's use issues. The thing about liver is that the iron is in the form of a molecule that we call heme. Heme being the bit in your blood that carries the oxygen around. And taking it in liver, which has a very high heme content, makes it maximally absorbable and maximally useful. But I'm still not eating liver. I know it's a superfood. I know it's got all the B vitamins too, and And I also know you can grind it up and put a little bit whole meatloaf, but as far as I'm concerned, the whole meatloaf now sucks. It just tastes irony, and I don't like it. Easier to swallow a pill. That's another one I also take with meals, not particularly because I think I need to, I just do. Other than the B supplement, which I take in mornings, and the vitamin C, which I take in my electrolyte drink, so that's kind of all day throughout the day. All my other supplements I just take with my meal because it's the easiest thing to do. I'm looking at my list. 2 of these are really unrelated to diabetes, but I take DHEA and boron specifically because I'm trying to raise my testosterone. But I think I'm going to save that for another video because or if anyone's interested, ask and I'll know to make that video. That I've started because I already feel so much better, I want to feel even better. And I've started exploring some other things beyond reversing diabetes and becoming trim, strong, and healthy. Including postmenopausal hormone situation. But if you're interested in that, comment and I'll get around to making that video. But that's the main things that I recommend. A B complex and milk thistle for all diabetics. Coenzyme Q10 and cod liver oil for anyone with heart disease or on a statin. Vitamin E if you don't get enough in your diet. And that's pretty much it. I'll have the links to all of these things below. I didn't get out bottles because it was just going to be a big mess. I have too many bottles. And you do not have to take all this stuff. One of the points Amanda makes about Eat Like a Bear is that you do not have to buy supplements. There are no special products, blah, blah, blah. It is, all you need is determination and your bootstraps. I do take supplements for various reasons, and I've explained those here, and at least part of it has to do with I feel better, and I'm gonna keep living. I don't know how long. I'm gonna go for it. And everything I take is relatively cheap. Oh, no, everything isn't. I'm sorry, I forgot a couple things. My husband, who I still cook for, although I no longer live with him, does not swallow pills. And I have vitamin D3 drops and vitamin K2 drops, which I add to certain foods. Basically, they're flavorless, and the K2 drops are expensive, but on the other hand, they do last for a year. I put it in soups, stews, mashed potatoes, which I don't eat. And because I put them in all of his food that I'm making, I also put them in my salad dressings because I have them. Another thing I add to my salad dressings is also a B vitamin, although it's not strictly a B vitamin. Another thing I had noticed was that I didn't think there was enough choline in this way of eating, because you really need about 3 egg yolks a day to get enough choline. And if I eat 3 eggs a day, well, first of all, fasting days I don't eat eggs, and I don't want to eat eggs as my protein every single day. I like beef, I like chicken, I like tuna fish, I like lots of things. So what I take as a source of choline is sunflower lecithin, which I mix into my salad dressing. What that means is when I mix up my salad dressing, it gets really thick, like a dip. But I like it that way. I do chopped salads and I toss it all in a really bigger bowl than I would need if I didn't have such thick dressings. So those are some additional things that I add that are, again, beyond what Amanda says and the basic premise of Eat Like a Bear. But those are 3 other ones that I just put in salad dressing, and it's not really a pill. It's not a pill. Not a pill is always a good thing, which is why I do topical magnesium. It's why I do vitamin C in a drink and that sort of thing. Something that I need to point out, I am fundamentally a chemist, and that is how I learned to look at all of the things that were wrong with me. As soon as I was diagnosed with diabetes, what will fix this? What nutrient will fix this? And I have, over the years, spent thousands and thousands of dollars on nutrient-dense foods and pills of nutrients of various sorts. That way of attacking my diabetes in a very chemistry-oriented way, also trying a lot of hormones besides insulin, amylin, and various things, that didn't do anything for me. Fasting is what changed everything. The irony is, all of the nutrients I worried about getting didn't fix a damn thing. Not getting any nutrients other than the electrolytes, not getting any of them, is what totally changed my life. I still believe in real food and in having it be as nutrient dense as possible. I have that kind of focus towards the way I eat, but I'm not looking for the magic nutrient. I'm not looking for the superfood. I'm not looking for the herb or whatever. Fasting is going to do more than all the supplements you could possibly take. That being said, I will link to the things that I use, which are usually, at least at the time that I chose them, were what I considered the highest quality for the best price. And most of them are really cheap, which is pretty much why I don't stop. I don't know that they aren't doing me good. I also don't know that I didn't heal so fast because of the years of trying to eat real food and take supplements and keep my nutrition good. So, yeah, it's cheap. Once a day I swallow some stuff, whoop-de-doo. It's not a big deal. And that is my thoughts on supplements.